This week's tip is going to focus on how to achieve better overhead and front rack position by mobilizing the rib cage joints between the shoulder blade and the spine. You need a lacrosse ball, preferably also a kettlebell. Although if you don't have a kettlebell, at least get one of these. You can still do a ton of work with just this. These are pretty cheap. Get one for home. This is something you want to do a couple times a week if you're one of those people that's got a chronic issue, basically. There are no quick fixes, especially with achieving optimal position, but also it takes a lot of work to achieve permanent change with these positions. So one thing to critically understand about what happens to the shoulder blade when you get into a front rack or an overhead position is it wants to fan out. It's supposed to. When you have a rounded position for most of your life, or maybe you've been doing a lot of bodybuilding for the last 10 years, the rib cage joints actually block the shoulder blade from fanning out. So if you look at somebody who's actually pretty scapjacked, like their back here is pretty beefy, it's kind of fascinating what happens to see the actual shoulder blades fan out like this. Okay, so first things first, you need to set the shoulder joint. You can do that with the kettlebell. With this, just like you're doing a kettlebell armbar, you're going to push up or Turkish get up the weight you want over the shoulder socket. Okay, not necessarily the wrist stacked over the shoulder. So this is out in front. Reset the shoulder, drive it into the ground, okay, and hang out here for 2 minutes. Once you've done that, you can take this lacrosse ball, find the first rib up here. It's actually sort of in your trap. And from here, you're going to bridge up. And you should be able to breathe through this. Work through that range, the overhead position. Okay, you can even do the front rack position. Okay, here for 2 minutes. Then you're going to work your way down. It's not going to feel as good as you work your way down because there's less muscle in your back than there is in the trap area, for me at least. Work your way through. Overhead position, 2 minutes. We're just going to go to the middle of the scap. We're not going to work all the way down. Okay, so that's about 3 or 4 positions. Bridge up. You should be able to breathe and talk through this the whole time. Okay, if you want to get a little bit more work, you can add a weight. Bridge up. Okay, for some of us, just laying on the lacrosse ball is enough. So like I said, we're going to work from the top rib, which is almost in your trap, all the way to mid scap. Okay, and if you can see, just from that little bit of work, going overhead, I already feel like I'm in a better position. Try it at home. If you have any questions, ask.